big sports. Basketball is certainly getting its fair share of publicity at the moment, but all for the wrong reasons. The NBL teetering, clubs are falling like nine pins. So Andrew Gaze, who's on the board of Basketball Australia and a legend in the game, joins us, Sammy, to talk about what the heck is going on, Andrew.
Well, there's been some difficult times with the NBL, and it has been probably for a few years now, primarily because of the economics of the sport. I think that when you look at the quality of the competition and the players we've been able to produce and the standard, it's outstanding. It's just haven't quite got the formula right as far as the economics, and hopefully in the future we'll be able to correct that.
When I was a bit younger, there was stacks on the mill at the Sydney Kings games, or when you were playing the same down there in Melbourne. But what happened to the marketing plan in that sort of mid-90s where we lost touch with the common man and the kids stopped wearing the Michael Jordan jackets and the Michael Jordan singlets?
Well, I think that there's a variety of reasons why you could look at and look back at it and see why perhaps we lost our way a little. I think that you know, certainly the perception of the game has taken a significant hit in recent times, and we all sort of recall back to the 90s where we were playing in front of 15,000 people here in Melbourne, and the Sydney Entertainment Centre was full and those types of things. But I think by and large the most important thing has been that the standard of the competition has continued to grow.
Exactly.
Although the perception has taken a hit, the standard has been outstanding, and I think that's testament to the programs we have in place and the way we're able to develop talent here in this country. But you know, until such a time as we can get the elite level competitions, not only for the NBL but also for the WNBL healthy, then clearly we're going to be limited.
Drewy, what is the right formula in your mind? Yeah, it's often mooted that we should delete a couple of sides to strengthen the competition, or should we in fact go the other way and try to, you know, introduce new sides?
Yeah, I personally like to think that we could look to more the European model. I like the way in Europe how that they have their national competition, and then of course they have their European league, but you also play to your abilities. In each of the national competitions there, you have a variety of clubs and associations involved in the competitions, and there's that promotion and relegation, and there's really that strength in numbers. And a combination of that, and also what we see because of the geographical problems we have here in Australia, the way they do it in the United States with the college ranks, how you have the various conferences coming together for a championship series. Those types of ideas I think that we should be looking at and trying to come up with a elite level competition whereby we have that security in providing everyone an opportunity to compete and giving more clubs and associations the ability to play at the highest level. So
should we stop down for a year or 6 months and basically clean the slate? We've got the Sydney Spirit in trouble, Singapore have gone, the Kiwis surprisingly are flying, but should we actually stop down and start again, or should we continue and try and just fix it on the run?
Well, I don't know whether it's fixing on the run, and I don't think that we necessarily need to close it down. When as I mentioned before, you look at the competition as far as just the participation is concerned, it's outstanding. The standard of the competition is excellent. We also have a great depth in the level below the NBL with our ABA clubs. There's right throughout the country, there's many clubs that are good enough to compete at the highest level. So I think that it's just a matter of trying to find the formula. It's going to take time. You know, we're not just going to close it down or think that in 6 months' time we wave a magic wand and everything will be corrected. I think it's a building process, and most importantly, we've got to get the structure right. And then I don't think we necessarily have the structure right with the way the NBL has been run and how it's evolved to a point we are at this point in time.
Drew,
yes?
With all those positives and everything, you're ticking all the boxes. But what about all your stadium deals, you know, your scheduling when you're playing games, you know, your lack of appeal to the corporate sector? You know, how'd that all go pear-shaped? And why don't you redress the obvious things? Why hasn't that been done?
Well, I think that they are being addressed. I think that, you know, we have this view that, and as you mentioned before, you look back to the 90s, we were playing at the Melbourne Flinders Park and Rod Laver Arena, and, you know, in Sydney at Sydney Entertainment Centre. I don't think necessarily the sport needs to be at that level. There may be some clubs that can do that, But when you think, say, for example, here in Victoria, where we have a facility like out at Knox or at Dandenong or at Melbourne Sports and Aquatic Centre, where you've got 2,500 people. Now, I know relative to what you're talking about that would be perceived to be a step backwards. But if the economics of that is correct and playing in those types of facilities, whereby we can provide more clubs the opportunity to play at the highest level and give more people the chance to play, then I also think that that's a formula that can work.
And just quickly, you probably would have hurt you to hear this week when Jack Watts chose an AFL career over a basketball career. Probably not totally understandable, but is that what you're finding happening, that players are saying, well, the basketball career, the football career or whatever, I'll go this way rather than basketball?
No, not necessarily. I think that's at the top end, and when you've got a #1 draft pick in the AFL, you say we've probably made the right choice. But there are many, many other kids that are choosing basketball, and certainly when you think of the rewards available to basketball, for both monetary and also the opportunity internationally, that generally basketball wins out because there's significantly much greater opportunities for basketballers.
Just because you went to Italy, Greece and America doesn't mean to say they're all going to go that way.
Good on you, Drew. You better leave it there. Still plenty more to come on PTI. Sam